Hi, friends. It is Pride Month. And I know that hearing those two words together has offended a couple people. I only know that because of comments that I've seen on other people's posts about Pride Month, especially on YouTube, where straight people are angry about it, which is a weird thing to be angry about. Anyways, so just as a quick disclaimer, quick warning, this video is not going to be for everyone. If we're about to piss off the homophobes and a very small handful of Christians. Not all Christians, okay? But just a small portion. Because just like everything else, you can't paint any follower of any religion with just one brush. You just can't. Human beings don't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. I'm not a particularly religious person. I am actually agnostic. And people tend to confuse that with atheism. It's not the same thing. Atheists do not believe in any kind of God whatsoever. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not trying to offend any atheists either. But that train of thought doesn't logically even make a lot of sense to me at all. There's a lot of things about atheism that is so contradictory and also doesn't encompass half of the things that we live through, deal with, have been through, history, future, right now, whatever. One example, I'm going to give you one example. Atheism says, well, I can't see it, so it must not be real. And atheists also claim many to be into science and logic, but they're not, because anyone who's into science, even rudimentary science, is very well aware that there are things going on around us all the time that the human eye cannot pick up. We do not have, there are noises dogs can hear that we can't hear. We are not perfect, well-oiled machines of our environment and picking everything up. And it's not because we're stupid. It's just because there are things that we can't see. Just wait until they find out about the electromagnetic field that we all live in. That's everywhere all the time. You can't see that, but we know it's there for many, many, many reasons. You know what I mean? Atheism makes very, very little sense to me. To think that we're all here for nothing makes no sense to me, especially in the things I've experienced with my family on my paternal side all passing away as a younger individual. Perhaps that is me psychologically reaching in a way, and that could be a psychological response to the trauma of losing my dad and my grandma and my granddaddy so early, and my aunt. That could absolutely be my brain doing the beautiful thing that human brains do and finding a way in chaos and finding comfort that they're still here. That could possibly be. All I can say is that no Bible ever was what told me I should still feel the presence of my family long after they've gone, and I do. And I'm a very logical person, so atheism doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't. Then the things I've felt, things I've observed, it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. So I'm agnostic, and all that means is, I don't know. Is God? I don't know. I'm just a human being. Is God real? I don't know. I have no idea. There are certain things as human beings that I don't know that we can know for sure. We can't know the unknowable. The human brain is the most complex machine, biological or non-biological, known to man. This is true. The human brain is capable of incredible things. And I believe that there certainly is some kind of spiritual forces working with us. I do think that. I feel it. And I also believe that one of the things that makes the expression of faith so beautiful is the fact that I think there could be a God, or there could be many gods, or whatever. I don't know. There are people that believe in it so strong, they know for sure. That's what faith is. And I feel like if there is a God who put me here, and you and all the rest of us, which I do believe in some kind of spiritual situation. I don't know what that is. It's got to be something, right? I think I would know if he wanted me to know. If he needed me to know of his existence to serve the purpose that he put me here for, then I would know. And it's why I think that faith is so beautiful, honestly. It's why I love learning about y'all's religions. I am always the student in those conversations, and I love that. And it doesn't just teach me about that religion, it teaches me about the person as well. And I love it. I love all that. With that being said, I used to have a very religious friend, very religious. And we don't really hang out that much anymore. Kind of got a little over the things that were coming out of his mouth, and this is one of them. I'm about to tell you what it is. One day we were having a conversation on heaven and hell, and I'm asking questions. This person has been Christian his entire life. Nice guy, still goes to church, still takes care of his elderly parents. I think that's, I mean, like, all of those things sound like good things, right? And we were having a conversation one day about heaven and hell and where everyone's going when we're done here. And he said something along the lines of, if you haven't accepted Christ, you're never going to get in heaven. Okay, well, the Bible does say that. I'm pretty sure the Bible says that. I've heard other Christians say it. It was my follow-up question and his response that shook me. And the follow-up question was, well, what about babies? What happens if a baby passes away and they don't even know English yet? They don't know how to speak. They certainly can't read. They can't read the Bible. They can't make the cognitive decision to accept Christ and become a Christian. Are they going to hell? And his answer was yes. I'm not making this up. He said the same thing about underprivileged people who don't have books or access to Bibles. They're going to go to hell. To any normal person, that's a crazy thing to say and hear. We don't hang out anymore. Okay? He said a lot of off-the-wall things, but that was one that I remember very specifically that I was like, what? I'm sorry, what? What? So, with that being said, if you are in that group where, because we're going to talk about evolution too, and I know that Christians aren't super into that either, but I think I can talk about it in a way that most Christians would be like, okay. And honestly, science and religion do not have to conflict. And I don't know that they do, to be perfectly honest with you. There is a book, and I can't remember the author right now. The book is titled Finding God in the Questions. It's written by a doctor, and he explores how science and the Bible actually do overlap and agree quite a bit in many different circumstances. But if you are one of the handful of Christians, and I say handful because most Christians, I would say 90%, 95% Christians, are just good people trying to live an honest life. That's what I think. But if you are one of those Christians who takes every word in the Bible as literal, or if you are someone who suffers from even the slightest bit of homophobia, this video is not, you're not going to like it. It's not for you. It's not going to be for you, and you're not going to like it. I'm just telling you that right now, up front. But you know what would be super interesting to you? The fact that we have criminal lawyers trafficking children from people who are totally freaking straight in Virginia Beach. Facts. Babies being trafficked. My babies. And if you want to learn more about that, especially if you're in that group of people, listen, I'm not judging you. We all have different reasons why we do different things. But it would be better to click off this video and go to acourthousekidnapping.com, because there's some shit there that you could actually be angry about, and you should be, especially if you're not gay, because if you're straight, you are making babies and this could happen to you. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. You do not have to be a nuisance. You do not have to be a criminal. You do not have to be a drug addict. You do not have to be an abuser for covert criminals dressed as lawyers to come abduct your children and then sell them to their abusers. This is where you need to be. Right here. Go here. Click off this. We can agree, disagree, and that's fine. I ain't ever trying to have any hate with anyone. Honey, I'm out here trying to take down human traffickers. So, this is where you would be better suited. Go check out acourthousekidnapping.com. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I have so many videos over there. You can learn so much more about me there as not only a mother, but a human being, and you can also learn about some of the horrible, atrocious crimes that are happening. This video is not going to be for you. You're not going to like it. If you are homophobic, or that tiny, tiny percent of Christians to where the E word is a slur, evolution, you're not going to like this. There's better uses for your rage, my friend. I promise you this. Innocent children, innocent parents are having their babies abducted and sold. This is where you need to be. Crosskidnapping.com. Okay? Go check that out. Because it's a problem. And it's a far bigger problem than anyone being gay. I promise you. I promise you this. I've survived it. I promise you this. Also, I am straight as an arrow, so I have no dog in this fight. And I want to talk about the LGBTQ. I'm not being disrespectful. Everyone keeps adding letters to it. And I said it in another video, it sounds like a sandwich. It makes me hungry. Sounds like a delicious sandwich. Nevertheless. So, now that hopefully those individuals have gone to the website to use their emotions in a meaningful and productive manner, be angry about something that actually has earned anger and frustration and resentment and could happen to anyone. Let's talk about the gays and the lesbians. I saw, okay, you guys, here we go. I'm making this video because it's Pride Month, we know this, and I saw a comment on one of the YouTubers that I watched. And I was looking at the comments, and then I saw a comment that I've actually heard people who are highly homophobic spit out before. And that was that same-sex relationships, romantic relationships, were not natural. And I have thoughts. I have thoughts on a way that I'm going to put this. I haven't actually ever heard anyone else say before, but when I was doing my studies to become a coach, I knew that there were 3 huge areas that I really want to focus on: evolutionary psychology, social psychology, and neurology. In the evolutionary aspect, I think it might actually be one of the most natural things on the planet. And let me explain. Wait. Let me explain. You're saying, Jamie, you're straight. You like dudes. What are you talking about? It's not natural to you. Well, that's true. Maybe not natural to me specifically. But when you look at the big picture, okay, and I'm talking globally, evolution adapts. Evolution adapts to us and every other living thing on the planet. And there are people who believe, and whether this is true or not, I actually honestly don't know. I don't know if I have a whole bunch of thoughts on this. That our planet globally, that we are becoming overpopulated. We started out small, and now we're over 8 billion humans on the planet. And there are people who will take that information. I would just, especially people in New York City, I bet, because they're like right on top of each other, and say that we're overpopulated. Earth is overpopulated. Well, maybe that could be true. To be fair, we all do kind of hang out in clusters. Human beings thrive in numbers for a reason. That's why we have communities and cities. And we have to leave something for Mother Nature. So that's why there is land that we don't really mess with. Thank goodness. We've had a little bit of sense there to leave something to Mother Nature. I'm talking about the very few nature reserves that we have globally. But here's the thing. Evolution adapts. Just like I just said. There is even an evolutionary reason why some of us are shaded darker or lighter than the person next to us. It has everything to do with the equator. It has everything to do with the equator. Cultures who have evolved over thousands of years closer to the equator produce more melanin in their babies over time. Why? Because nature is protecting them from radiation cancer. Look it up. Google it. Google it right now. No. Watch the video first and then Google it. White people, our chance of melanoma is like 1 in 35. Stark, right? Brown people whose ancestors grew up closer to the sun with longer days, their chances of melanoma are more like 1 in 1,000. Why? Because the melanin in their skin has evolved to protect them and their families from sun cancer. There's a reason. I'm just saying, as human beings, maybe not in one lifetime, maybe not in 2 lifetimes, maybe not in 3 lifetimes, but over tens, 20s, hundreds of lifetimes, our bodies are going to evolve in a way that is conducive to keep us alive per the geographical location that our ancestors lived and died in. And that's it. That's literally it. And we could sit here and get into the science of why more melanin in the skin protects from sun cancer, but that's not what this video is about. It's about the gays. And if you think about how I started what I was just saying, and that the world is overpopulated, it would make actually a lot of sense for evolution to begin creating individuals who are less likely to procreate. And it takes time. Mother Nature is very intelligent, and we have seen a decline. In the United States, we've seen a huge decline in birth rates since 2007. And even between the late 70s and the early 2000s, there was a little trickle in birth rates. So it just feels like nature's making more people gay. Because there's too many of us, and 2 eggs can't make a human. I also, and you guys, I'm going to, it's controversial again to a lot of people, and that's okay. If there is a God, and he saw all the abandoned babies that straight people have left, obviously not all straight people, but if you made a baby, that took a sperm and an egg. Unless you came from a cloning situation, which, shockingly, is not illegal somehow. Somehow human cloning is not illegal in the United States, and it is absolutely happening. It's very odd, very sci-fi, but they're doing it. They are doing it. I don't know if they're doing it in a way that you look at a celebrity looking different. Oh, it's a clone. I don't think it's like that. But human cloning is happening. Tom Brady cloned his dogs. Swear to God. Tom Brady cloned his dogs. Paris Hilton cloned her dogs. If you can clone dogs, obviously you can clone a fucking person. Obviously. And they're doing that. Nevertheless, that's also a different video. But maybe, as I told you, I'm going to bring evolution and somehow God into all of this. I think if there was a God and he was looking down and seeing abandoned babies, I think he would probably go on to create amazing humans who would be amazing, loving, and safe parents for those beautiful babies that were abandoned or abused or mistreated. To have that in your heart, to be a parent and not be able to have your own child because of whatever reason, could certainly be a sanctuary for a baby who wasn't so fortunate and didn't have parents with that heart. I see gayness as a solution. Solutions everywhere. But as an observation, it would make sense to me from an evolutionary aspect if we're overpopulated to start creating humans who are less likely to procreate themselves, especially when there are so many babies who just really need a family. Family is above everything. And I don't believe that blood makes you family. I think that makes you a relative. So, it is Pride Month. And I saw that comment and I just thought, is it unnatural? No. Is it? Is it? How? How is it unnatural if it's an instinct that someone just has? And a lot of people, you guys, homosexuality went from news to normal about 10 years ago. Outrage about Pride Month just doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to me. Also, you guys, love, when done correctly, is never the problem. Never. When love is done right, it's never the problem. And it doesn't matter who that love is between. It doesn't matter the individuals involved. Love is supposed to be protective and nurturing and consoling and uplifting. And when love is done correctly, it doesn't matter what's in either of those people's pants. Love is never the problem. Love is never the problem. When it's done right, love is never the problem. People being upset about other people being happy with another human when the two are not someone that this person, just to be angry about people being gay makes me feel like you don't understand what you should be angry about. Like you're just looking for reasons to be angry. Even logically, it just doesn't make sense to be angry about any love between two people that you don't know, have never met. When it comes to trans stuff, I also don't care. And I feel like, honestly, most people don't care. Listen, I look at transgender the exact same way I think about the Second Amendment and gun control. I'm not even gonna lie. I really don't give two shits for what you're packing. As long as you don't whip it out and freaking point it at me, you know what? We're gonna get along. We're gonna be all right. It just doesn't matter. It's just not. Who cares? Like, it's not anyone's business. Who cares if Sally and Brenda are getting along and love each other and bringing each other peace? And who cares? That's not a problem. What? How? Where? Who? If that is a problem for you, it's because you're making it a problem for you, for yourself, you know? Because Sally and Brenda, they're not thinking about you. They don't even know you, just like you don't know them. You're not on their radar. You're upsetting yourself for no reason. And I said something about hate in my last video. And I think everyone could benefit from hearing this, so I'm going to say it again. Hate is the most unique poison. Why? Because it's the only poison on the planet that is most toxic to the vessel in which it is held. And that is true. If you're hating someone that doesn't even know you exist, and you've never met them, and they're not hurting anyone, who is it hurting? If it's hurt, if two people's love is hurting you, you're choosing for it to hurt you. People who don't know you and aren't involved is somehow hurt you. You're making that choice. You're making that choice. And we all do get a choice. You have free will. You can step back and be like, wait a minute. Why does this bother me so much? Why? And that's healthy. It's healthy to question the things that upset you and understand why they're upsetting you. And the reason is because that's an easier way to find a solution for them not to upset you. Because you being upset about anyone loving anyone is not going to make them love that person any less. I promise you this. If anything, it's going to do the opposite and they will love them more. Two grown adults being in love and creating a healthy and happy environment for themselves should not ever hurt anyone who has never, ever, 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 that they've never had they haven't done anything to hurt you. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. And like I said, I'm straight. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not a gay person defending gay people. I'm just a human being explaining to you guys what I've seen, what I've learned, and how I feel. So, happy Pride Month. Let humans celebrate themselves. We need that. Every human needs that from time to time. Let other humans celebrate what brings them joy and peace, as we should all want that for each other as human beings. It's not a slight to you. I promise you it isn't. They're not even thinking about you. Who cares if they're having a parade? We need more reasons for parades. And I'm not going to lie, parades are a lot of fun. No matter why we're having them. So, I just want to let everyone know. Being upset about two other people being in love that you don't know, have never met, and likely never will, is a problem within you that you should address yourself. Don't involve everyone else in your own. Oh, and there's another thing. There's another thing that I'd like to say. It's about the whole pronoun conversation. Because the whole premise is you can only control, I can only control me. You can only control you. You can't control what other people are doing. However, you can be respectful, right? So one, if someone is asking that you don't refer to them by their gender and just say they, please don't act like a frontal lobotomy patient. Please don't pretend that you can't learn new information. That's mean. You understand when someone gets married and changes their last name to their husband's last name. You can understand that. You can understand that that's not that hard. You're showing your own lack of intelligence at that moment. So listen, there's a reason that we don't do frontal lobotomies anymore. Because that surgery, which was initiated, Dr. I think his first name was Walter, his last name was Freeman, was done with no surgical training from that man, no anesthesia, and sometimes no gloves even being worn. And the surgery has been banned. What it did was he would shove an ice pick in their eyeball. Remember, no anesthesia. And do a windshield wiper movement with the ice pick. And what this did was it severed all of the nerve connections from the prefrontal cortex to the other parts of the brain, which, as we now know, are very important because, first of all, many of those patients did not survive, but the ones who did, one, they became either very childlike, they couldn't take care of themselves, became to have problems in normal problem solving. And what I mean is they would become very ingrained in a routine, but if anything disrupted that routine, they would not know how to fix it. For example, they have a glass of milk every morning. That's something that they did, whatever. Well, when the milk ran out in the fridge, they would not know. They could not comprehend, even if they had money, how to get milk back in the fridge to pour into their cup every morning. And if you're saying that you have such little respect for other humans that you can't learn something new, one, you're lying. Unless you're suffering from age-related or injury-related dementia, you're lying. Because we're humans, and the human brain learns from cradle to grave, baby. Yes, you can. You just won't. Like, you're just being mean. Just being nasty for no reason. There's no reason. Who cares? Who cares? If I want to change my name to Cynthia tomorrow, I would hope. And oh my goodness, for those who can't figure out the they-them situation, you would have a field day with what they did with my name. It would blow you out of the water. You wouldn't be able to handle it. All I'm saying is, love is never the problem when done right. Abuse can happen in any relationship. Romantic, not romantic, male, female, 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 all of the dynamics, all the things. Abuse can happen in any of those. Judging someone else's lifestyle in that way in 2026, it might be something that you want to address, maybe seek some therapy. If homosexuality stresses you out that much, that you need to be making hateful comments to strangers on the internet, then you should check out Talkspace. And conveniently enough, I have a link where you can get $80 off. It's going to be in the description. I'm also going to put it right here. So if you are having some kind of mental problems to where you cannot obtain any kind of new information, first see your doctor, because you might need a brain scan. Secondly, we just need to make sure you haven't had a stroke, something horrible didn't happen to you. And if everything's fine, then download Talkspace. Get $80 off with my link by using code SPACE80 when checking out. Anytime you check out. That's my spiel. You guys are amazing. And, I ever make any of these to offend anyone. But I feel like clarity is okay. And I know that the internet has no fucking chill. But I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'm just letting you know my observations. So, we will stay grateful. We will stay grateful for all of our blessings, for bringing us peace. Every single one of our challenges, for bringing us strength. And don't forget to check out courthousekidnapping.com. And if this video has left you detrimentally sad, download Talkspace with my link and use code SPACE80 for $80 off. So many solutions in the video. I hope everyone has a beautiful weekend. And as always, thank you for watching.